When you hear people's gripe against me, it's always about what I didn't do for them. They don't say I did anything to them. They said I didn't do something for them.
He's a billionaire, a rap mogul, a cultural icon who's played the game of fame better than almost anyone in the industry. But behind the business suits and platinum plaques lies a list of people who crossed Jay-Z and never made it back into his good graces. This isn't just about petty tweets or a few dissies. These were real feuds, cold wars, and betrayals.
You know, these are people you used to deal drugs with.
Right.
Like, you're a grown man. Like
right.
What you supposed to do about it?
These are the artists Jay-Z hated the most. And just when you think you know the worst of it, wait until we reach the final name on this list. Let's start with number 1, Jaz-O. Before the private jets, before the Rock Nation empire, Jay-Z was just a young rapper from Brooklyn trying to break into the game. And the man who opened that door for him, Jaz-O. He wasn't just Jay's mentor. He was his big brother in the industry. Jaz taught him how to navigate the business, how to rhyme with precision, and gave him his very first shot with their early track, Hawaiian Sophie. But as Jay's fame skyrocketed, their relationship shifted. Jaz felt abandoned, left behind. In several interviews, he said Jay never stood up for him when the table turned, despite all his early contributions to Jay's rise. What once felt like brotherhood now looked like betrayal.
Problem I have with this whole dog is that never stood up for me like that. That's my problem. So anybody want to know why I got a problem, I should have a problem. When I put my career and I put my relationship with the people who were in control of my success at my label, and I put all of that on the line for my mans, and then when the tables are turned, he don't do 1/10 of that. He don't do 100th of that. I can't with that nigga.
In 2003, Jay agreed to appear on a track for Jaz's upcoming album. But when it came time to shoot the video, Jay never showed. No explanation, no apology. That snub hurt more than a diss track ever could.
Jay-Z does one verse on the song, Let's Go. And I guess he was supposed to be in the video, in the music video, but he ended up not showing up.
I didn't get a call back saying that he said that he's not gonna do it.
He just didn't show up.
Yeah.
Jaz responded with It's Over, a direct diss aimed at the protege who'd become a mogul. Jay, never one to back down, fired back indirectly on What More Can I Say, brushing off old mentors, trying to ride his wave. Years passed, but the pain didn't. They briefly reunited on stage in 2017, smiling for the cameras, but they never truly shared the mic again. No track, no closure. Some feuds explode, others linger in the silence. And between Jay-Z and Jaz-O, it was the silence that said the most. Let's move to number 2, Cameron. Cameron and Jay-Z weren't always at odds. In fact, they were once allies under the Rockefeller umbrella. But things changed quickly when Dame Dash made a major move while Jay-Z was away, appointing Cam as vice president of the label without Jay's knowledge. When Jay returned and discovered the deal, he was livid. He blocked the official contract, and the fallout began. Cam felt disrespected, believing Jay was trying to limit his growth within the company. That behind-the-scenes power struggle led to years of tension. Cam didn't stay silent. In 2006, he dropped You Gotta Love It, a diss track, where he called Jay fake and accused him of playing politics to stay on top. But the beef didn't stop at the music. Cam later admitted in an interview that he deleted Jay-Z's remix verse from Oh Boy out of spite. He also revealed that Jay had wiped his contributions from the paid in full soundtrack. These were calculated moves, not random decisions.
I listened to it and I was like, erase that shit. You see, did this shit to me, so I was like,
yo, you a different type of
I erased it.
This was a battle of control. Cam wanted his seat at the table, but Jay wasn't about to let that happen without a fight. For years, they stayed distant, trading subliminal jabs and icy public appearances. Then, in 2019, a surprising twist. Jay-Z called Cam personally and invited him to perform alongside him and Nas at a concert in New York. The gesture shocked fans and media alike. Cam later said, "We just showed love for each other and we kept it under wraps." A full circle moment. But for nearly a decade, this feud wasn't just about two rappers not getting along. It was about trust, ambition, and the brutal business of hip-hop leadership. It defined inter-label drama and exposed how fragile power can be, even among giants. Next up, number 3, Beanie Sigel. If there was one artist who showed unwavering loyalty to Rockefeller Records, it was Beanie Sigel. From the early 2000s, Beanie wasn't just a rapper on the roster. He was the muscle behind the brand. He rode for the label in every way, constantly defending Jay-Z and Roca, Fela in interviews, battles, and on the streets. He thought that same loyalty he gave would be returned, that Jay-Z would have his back the way he always had Rockefeller's.
So me being with Rockefeller, the La Familia, I held on to that. It's like I got something, and you know what I mean? And it's like, these niggas got.
But everything changed when Beanie ran into serious legal trouble in 2003, facing attempted murder and weapons charges. Beanie expected Jay to stand by him, not just as a label head, but as a brother. And while Jay-Z did appear in court to vouch for him, he also made it clear.
There's this rumor that one time that Jay got on the stand, whatever, and they asked him, would you be responsible for Beanie? And he said no.
Yeah.
That's the truth?
Absolutely.
He couldn't take responsibility for Beanie's actions. That moment cut deep. The bitterness only grew. In 2009, Siegel dropped the diss track, What You Talking About, unloading years of disappointment. He accused Jay of abandoning him and playing politics while Beanie was fighting for his life. Jay never responded, at least not publicly. And that silence? It spoke volumes. They briefly shared a stage again at a title event in 2015, but Beanie confessed they never addressed what really happened. There was no closure, just a heavy cloud of what could have been. This wasn't about bars or business. It was about brotherhood and how fast it can disappear when the stakes get high. Which brings us to number 4, Fat Joe. The tension between Jay-Z and Fat Joe wasn't loud, but it had real consequences. Back in 2004, they were both preparing for what should have been an epic showdown at the Rucker Park basketball tournament, a place where street legends and rap royalty collided. Jay-Z's team was stacked with NBA talent, anticipation was through the roof, but Jay's squad never showed up for the championship game. Fat Joe's team took the win by default. Joe didn't hold back and leaned back, one of his biggest hits. He dropped a sly jab. My didn't have to play to win the championship.
I don't want to speak about the Rucker, not even Pee Wee Kirk. My niggas didn't have to play to win the championship.
To the casual listener, it was just a flex. But to insiders, it was a subtle shot aimed directly at Jay. The tension only grew from there, when Fat Joe, J. Rule, and Jadakiss created the anthem New York to push back against 50 Cent. Joe wanted Jay-Z on the remix. Jay declined. And while he never explained why, many believe he didn't want to be involved in 50's growing list of enemies. Fat Joe saw that as a snub. He later admitted that the quiet tension between him and Jay cost him more than just a verse. It cost him a Reebok sneaker deal.
If you mess with Jay-Z, people don't know we had subliminal rap beef with Jay-Z. So if you mess with Jay-Z, you can't give me no money because you got to be loyal to Jay-Z. You got to be loyal to 50 Cent.
That's the Reebok deal.
That's the Reebok deal,
that you had in play.
Oh, they shut me down with that.
By 2016, they finally buried the hatchet when Jay-Z jumped on the remix of All the Way Up. The song was a success, and their collaboration marked the end of a long Cold War. But make no mistake, this wasn't a beef born out of diss tracks and headlines. It was rooted in silence, sidesteps, and missed chances. Pride did what diss tracks couldn't, kept two kings apart. It all started with New York Pride. Number 5, Nas. Jay-Z dropped Takeover in 2001. It took shots at Nas's credibility, mocking his recent albums and claiming that Illmatic was his only real contribution to rap history. At the time, Nas was already dealing with the death of his mother. That grief turned Jay's diss into something much more personal. What could have been just another lyrical jab became fuel for one of the most powerful responses in hip-hop history.
He told me, though, I think his mother died. When Jay came at him, he was dealing with his mother dying.
Damn.
So I think that kind of helped.
Nas fired back with Ether, a savage diss track that didn't just challenge Jay-Z, it humiliated him. The lyrics were raw, unforgiving, and calculated. It instantly flipped the power dynamic and changed the course of rap battles forever. What followed was a full-on battle for dominance, with each verse escalating the tension. Interviews, debates, and rap forums lit up with discussion. It was more than music, it was a moment. People picked sides, and the beef became a cultural flashpoint. And just when it felt like things couldn't go further, something unexpected happened. In 2005, during his I Declare War concert, Jay brought Nas on stage.
You know what I did for y'all for hip-hop? I said, fuck that shit. Let's go, Esco.
They shook hands, burying the hatchet publicly. It was one of the most powerful reconciliations in hip-hop, followed by a rare collaboration, Black Republican. But the echoes of Ether still ring louder than any peace treaty. That track didn't just end a beef, it defined it. It became the gold standard for diss records and a permanent part of both artists' legacies. Number 6 is 50 Cent. This wasn't a beef, it was a standoff. 50 Cent came into the game reckless, loud, and fearless. On his 1999 track, How to Rob, he took shots at everyone, including Jay-Z. Jay didn't let that slide. At Summer Jam 99, he responded live, "Go against Jigga, dance. I'm about $1. 50 Cent, said. But behind the scenes, Jay knew 50 was about to take over. He even told his Rockefeller crew, 50 Cent is coming. And he was right. 50's Get Rich or Die Trying crushed everything in its path. The two toured together briefly and even appeared in a joint Reebok ad. But the jabs never stopped. 50 told the media Jay's album was too smart. That was golf course music. In another interview, 50 bragged, his biggest album sold 400K. Mine sold 5 million. There was never a competition. From disses to sneaker sales to media jabs, this was a silent war between two marketing giants with neither side ever blinking. Finally, number 7, Lil Wayne. This one's layered, and it starts in 2006. Jay-Z tried to sign Lil Wayne as his deal with Cash Money was ending, but Wayne stayed loyal to Birdman, his childhood mentor. That alone sparked tension. Jay later dropped Kingdom Come, returning from retirement, claiming he came back to save hip-hop. Wayne didn't take that lightly. He clapped back, "It's not his house anymore. I'm better than him." Fast forward to 2011. On Ham, Jay drops the infamous line, "Really, you got baby money." Fans instantly thought it was a shot at Wayne and Birdman. Wayne confirmed it with, "It's good. I got your baby money. I'll just kidnap your." Things stayed tense until something unexpected happened. When Wayne sued Birdman over withheld money, Jay-Z backed him legally. But in 2024, another controversy emerged. Jay, through Rock Nation, picked Kendrick Lamar to headline the Super Bowl halftime show in New Orleans, Wayne's hometown. Wayne wasn't included. Fans speculated Jay was still holding a grudge. Even Nicki Minaj jumped into the conversation, accusing Jay of blocking Wayne, a claim that felt shaky considering their past cooperation. Still, the optics didn't help. This feud might not have ended with a bang, but it definitely hasn't ended. Jay-Z doesn't throw tantrums. He doesn't go on Instagram rants. He plays the long game. Sometimes he responds with a bar. Sometimes he just goes silent. But that silence, it's strategic. And often louder than anything on wax. But what do you think? Was Jay-Z always in the right? Or did ego cloud his vision? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And stay tuned, because if this is what we know about Jay-Z's grudges, imagine what's still being kept behind closed doors.